Google Cloud Certified Professional Cloud DevOps Engineer exam. Updated dumps questions are valuable in your preparation. Share some Google Professional Cloud DevOps Engineer exam updated dumps here. 1. Your organization recently adopted a container-based workflow for application development. Your team develops numerous applications that are deployed continuously through an automated build pipeline to a Kubernetes cluster in the production environment. The security auditor is concerned that developers or operators could circumvent automated testing and push code changes to production without approval. What should you do to enforce approvals? A. Configure the build system with protected branches that require pull request approval. B. Use an admission controller to verify that incoming requests originate from approved sources. C. Leverage Kubernetes Role-Based Access Control (RBAC) to restrict access to only approved users. D. Enable binary authorization inside the Kubernetes cluster and configure the build pipeline as an attester. 2. You support a production service that runs on a single compute engine instance. You regularly need to spend time on recreating the service by deleting the crashing instance and creating a new instance based on the relevant image. You want to reduce the time spent performing manual operations while following site reliability engineering principles. What should you do? A. File a bug with the development team so they can find the root cause of the crashing instance. B. Create a managed instance group with a single instance and use health checks to determine the system status. C. Add a load balancer in front of the compute engine instance and use health checks to determine the system status. D. Create a Stackdriver monitoring dashboard with SMS alerts to be able to start recreating the crashed instance promptly after it has crashed. 3. You are managing the production deployment to a set of Google Kubernetes Engine (GKE) clusters. You want to make sure only images which are successfully built by your trusted CI/CD pipeline are deployed to production. What should you do? A. Enable Cloud Security Scanner on the clusters. B. Enable vulnerability analysis on the container registry. C. Set up the Kubernetes engine clusters as private clusters. D. Set up the Kubernetes engine clusters with binary authorization. 4. Your team uses Cloud Build for all C/CO pipelines. You want to use the kubectl builder for Cloud Build to deploy new images to Google Kubernetes Engine (GKE). You need to authenticate to GKE while minimizing development effort. What should you do? A. Assign the container developer role to the Cloud Build service account. B. Specify the container developer role for Cloud Build in the Cloud Build YAML file. C. Create a new service account with the container developer role and use it to run Cloud Build. D. Create a separate step in Cloud Build to retrieve service account credentials and pass these to kubectl. 5. You need to reduce the cost of virtual machines (VM) for your organization. After reviewing different options, you decide to leverage preemptible VM instances. Which application is suitable for preemptible VMs? A. A scalable in-memory caching system. B. The organization's public-facing website. C. A distributed, eventually consistent NoSQL database cluster with sufficient quorum. D. A GPU-accelerated video rendering platform that retrieves and stores videos in a storage bucket. 6. You need to deploy a new service to production. The service needs to automatically scale using a managed instance group (MIG), and should be deployed over multiple regions. The service needs a large number of resources for each instance and you need to plan for capacity. What should you do? A. Use the N2HIGHCPU96 machine type in the configuration of the MIG. B. Monitor results of stack driver trace to determine the required amount of resources. C. Validate that the resource requirements are within the available quota limits of each region. D. Deploy the service in one region and use a global load balancer to route traffic to this region. 7. You are on call for an infrastructure service that has a large number of dependent systems. You receive an alert indicating that the service is failing to serve most of its requests and all of its dependent systems with hundreds of thousands of users are affected. As part of your site reliability engineering (SRE) incident management protocol, you declare yourself Incident Commander (IC), and pull in 2 experienced people from your team as Operations Lead (OLJ) and Communications Lead (CL). What should you do next? A. Look for ways to mitigate user impact and deploy the mitigations to production. B. Contact the affected service owners and update them on the status of the incident. C. Establish a communication channel where incident responders and leads can communicate with each other. D. Start a postmortem, add incident information, circulate the draft internally, and ask internal stakeholders for input. 8. Your application artifacts are being built and deployed via a C/CD pipeline. You want the C/CD pipeline to securely access application secrets. You also want to more easily rotate secrets in case of a security breach. What should you do? A. Prompt developers for secrets at build time. Instruct developers to not store secrets at rest. B. Store secrets in a separate configuration file on Git. Provide select developers with access to the configuration file. C. Store secrets in cloud storage encrypted with a key from Cloud KMS. Provide the C/CD pipeline with access to Cloud KMS via IAM. D. Encrypt the secrets and store them in the source code repository. Store a decryption key in a separate repository and grant your pipeline access to it. 9. You have a C/CD pipeline that uses CloudBuild to build new Docker images and push them to Docker Hub. You use Git for code versioning. After making a change in the CloudBuild YAML configuration, you notice that no new artifacts are being built by the pipeline. You need to resolve the issue following site reliability engineering practices. What should you do? A. Disable the C pipeline and revert to manually building and pushing the artifacts. B. Change the C pipeline to push the artifacts to Container Registry instead of Docker Hub. C. Upload the configuration YAML file to cloud storage and use error reporting to identify and fix the issue. D. Run a Git compare between the previous and current CloudBuild configuration files to find and fix the bug. 10. You are part of an organization that follows SRE practices and principles. You are taking over the management of a new service from the development team, and you conduct a production readiness review (PRR). After the PRR analysis phase, you determine that the service cannot currently meet its service level objectives, SLOs. You want to ensure that the service can meet its SLOs in production. What should you do next? A. Adjust the SLO targets to be achievable by the service so you can bring it into production. B. Notify the development team that they will have to provide production support for the service. C. Identify recommended reliability improvements to the service to be completed before handover. D. Bring the service into production with no SLOs and build them when you have collected operational data.